So the episode opens with this absolutely perfect setup. The world is bracing for major changes with only a few days left until the upcoming International Guild Conference. And guys, this isn't just any conference. This is the event that's set to bring together the world's most powerful guilds under one roof. The tension is already building and we're not even 5 minutes in. But here's where it gets interesting. Just days before this prestigious summit, a major turning point quietly unfolds in the heart of America. And when I say quietly, I mean the calm before the absolute storm that's about to hit. So we get this scene where a helicopter descends onto the grounds of this vast, luxurious estate nestled in the countryside. And whose mansion is this? Christopher Reed, one of the few national-level hunters in existence. The moment I saw him, I knew something big was about to go down, because you don't just casually visit a national-level hunter. As the helicopter blade slows down, Christopher emerges onto the front steps, and he's watching as the vice director of the Hunter Command Center steps out, followed by this composed but tense-looking woman, Norma Selner. And Christopher raises an eyebrow because he's mildly surprised to see them. He hadn't been informed of any visits today, which immediately tells us this is urgent business. He motions for them to come inside, and his voice is cool as he notes that if they're here about a newly spawned S-rank gate out east, they're wasting their time because he has no interest in getting involved. But guys, the vice director shakes his head and says it's not about a gate, it's something far more urgent. Christopher leads them into a private room and instructs his maid to ensure no one comes near. You can feel the weight of this moment. As they settle, he sits comfortably and asks what this is really about, and he can already tell from their faces that it's not routine business. Then Norma Selner sits down across from him, and her tone is calm but firm as she explains that this visit isn't about a crisis. They've come to warn him. And here's where my jaw literally dropped. According to her visions, his life is in danger. He's going to be murdered soon. The moment those words slip from Miss Selner's mouth, Christopher absolutely loses it. He slams his teacup onto the table, that sharp clink slicing through the heavy silence. Without looking up, his voice drops low and serious as he says he's grateful for everything she's done for him in the past, but they're not close enough for her to make jokes like this. Then his gaze slowly lifts to meet hers, cold and sharpened like a quiet storm in his eyes. Christopher reminds her who she's speaking to, and the weight in his voice presses into the room like a vice. This man is a national-level hunter, and the disrespect is not being tolerated. But Miss Selner doesn't flinch. She closes her eyes for a brief moment, recalling the vision that haunts her, and she calmly reveals that she dreamt of him recently, surrounded by men with a heavy sense of danger closing in on him. It's not a vague unease, it's certainty. She knows he's going to die. Christopher's patience is fracturing at this point. The idea that she'd flown all the way out here to spout what he sees as nonsense leaves a sour taste in his mouth. His tone rises, edged with anger, as he questions whether she really expects a national-level hunter to believe he can be killed. But Miss Selner pushes forward. She speaks of fate, inevitability, and the one sliver of hope she believes still exists. Christopher scoffs at the idea, asking if she truly thinks there's anyone in this world capable of protecting someone like him. He declares with full confidence that no such person exists. But Miss Selner disagrees. There might be one, she says quietly. Christopher narrows his eyes, watching her carefully as she utters a name that made my heart stop. Sung Jin-Woo. He falls silent, and you can see this flicker of unease passing over his expression as Miss Selner turns and walks out, leaving behind only doubt in her wake. The fact that even a national-level hunter shows uncertainty at Jin-Woo's name tells us everything about how legendary our boy has become. That night at Christopher Reed's mansion, the atmosphere is thick and heavy, the kind of silence that feels too perfect. Christopher lies asleep in his bed, but the calm is broken as he abruptly sits up, eyes sharp. Something has stirred him, and his instincts are screaming danger. He slips on his robe and steps out into the dim hallway, guided by instinct rather than reason. As he walks, the unnatural stillness clings to him. It's not just quiet, it's wrong. Suspicion rising, Christopher grabs a wine glass from a nearby table and in one swift motion hurls it down the empty corridor. The glass shatters, but no sound follows. That silence confirms it. Something is here. A chill runs through him as his thoughts drift back to Miss Selner and the vice director, to their warning. He hadn't believed them, but now he feels it. Something powerful lurks nearby. Just then, a man with blonde hair appears, standing at the far end of the hall with a serene smile, his hands tucked behind his back. Christopher's senses flare because he can detect two more presences standing behind him, silent but unmistakable. Without turning, he demands they reveal themselves, but the blonde man isn't focused on him. He raises his gaze slightly, and in the language of monsters, guys, he speaks, directed not at Christopher, but at something beyond. He says that if the fragment of light continues to accommodate humans, no one will be saved. Christopher's brow furrows because the words make no sense. What is he talking about? But the man dismisses him, tells him to be silent, claiming the conversation isn't meant for him. He's speaking to something above Christopher, something connected to him. Those words strike a nerve, and in an instant fire surges around Christopher. His body ignites, his form expanding and morphing until it becomes something no longer human. Engulfed in flames, he declares with fury that at least one of them will die here. The two figures standing behind him watch his transformation in awe, unable to comprehend how a human could achieve spiritualization. But Christopher doesn't wait. He lunges forward at the blonde intruder, unleashing his power. Flames roar through the mansion, devouring everything in their path as the clash shakes the very walls. The outcome of the battle remains unknown, but the destruction it leaves behind is undeniable. This fight was absolutely epic, and the animation was incredible. Meanwhile, in Japan, it's Jin-Woo's last day as he heads toward the airport in a sleek black car accompanied by a full convoy. The streets are flooded with thousands of people all gathered for one last glimpse of the man who saved their city. The sheer number of onlookers has even Baru suggesting that his liege raise a hand like a king to acknowledge them. But Jin-Woo shuts the idea down without hesitation because he's not interested in basking in attention. Our boy stays humble even when he's literally treated like royalty. The convoy soon reaches the airport, and Jin-Woo exchanges brief farewells with the officials before boarding his flight back to Korea. As he settles into his seat, he notices a familiar face in the seat beside him, Adam White of the Federal Bureau of Hunters. Jin-Woo can't help but wonder if this is just coincidence or another deliberate approach by the Bureau. Adam doesn't beat around the bush, and with a shrug, he admits it's not coincidence. Jin-Woo greets him coolly, recalling their previous meeting, and asks what brings him here this time. Adam, well aware that showing up unannounced crosses a few lines, explains there's something urgent he needs to discuss. Immediately, Jin-Woo's mind goes to the worst, and he asks if the US has failed to contain the S-rank gate. Adam quickly reassures him it's been handled, but what he has to show Jin-Woo is something else, something far more serious. Wasting no time, Adam pulls out his laptop and opens a video file. The screen shows thick black smoke curling into the sky like from a massive wildfire. Flames blaze violently, firefighters scrambling to get control as chaos unfolds. Jin-Woo's eyes narrow as he studies the footage and asks what exactly he's looking at. Adam's tone turns grim as he reveals the truth. The man responsible for the destruction was Christopher Reed. Despite deploying 1,800 firefighters and 14 high-tier hunters, they struggled to contain the fire that Christopher had unleashed. Jin-Woo instantly recognizes the scale of the disaster. For flames that wild, there had to have been a serious battle. He asks what became of Christopher, and Adam pauses the video, freezing it on an image of Christopher's scorched body riddled with wounds. He says that by the time they found him, Christopher was already dead. Then Adam reaches into his inner pocket and pulls out a photograph of the man they believe was behind the incident. The moment Jin-Woo lays eyes on the picture, something in him snaps. Without warning, he activates ruler's authority. Adam is yanked from his seat mid-air, crushed invisibly by immense pressure as his laptop is flattened into scrap. Screaming in pain, Adam finds himself at the mercy of Jin-Woo's darkened gaze. Jin-Woo warns him coldly that if this is some kind of twisted joke, Adam won't leave the plane alive. The raw power and emotion in this scene gave me absolute chills. Panicked, Adam waves off the bodyguards who have started to react. He hurriedly explains that the man in the photo emerged from a dungeon, that it might not be who Jin-Woo thinks. Still struggling to breathe, Adam goes on, revealing that the man's energy felt less like a hunter and more like a monster's. He reveals that the explosion at the Hunter Bureau's headquarters a few months ago was this man's doing too. Jin-Woo slowly releases his grip, letting Ruler's authority fade. The name of his father, the face in that photo, all of it churns inside him in disbelief. Guys, this is his father we're talking about. The emotional weight of this moment is absolutely crushing. As tension starts to ease, Adam, still catching his breath, continues. The suspect has already attacked several S-rank hunters before disappearing. He acknowledges the emotional weight of what this means for Jin-Woo, but says all signs still point to the man in the photo. Jin-Woo, his expression now unreadable, asks why Adam has shown this to him. Adam replies that it concerns the upcoming International Guild Conference. The US Bureau plans to issue a red notice on the suspect. Until now, the investigation has been confidential, but that's about to change. They want to give Jin-Woo advance notice before making the wanted poster public at the conference he's scheduled to attend. The US Hunter Association has lost a national-level hunter, and they're prepared to pursue the culprit with everything they have. Out of respect, they decided to tell Jin-Woo first. Jin-Woo sits there silent, processing everything. His father, missing for 10 years, has returned, and possibly not as the man he once was. That truth weighs heavily on him, and you can feel the internal struggle he's going through. Adam, meanwhile, despite the pain still lingering in his chest, finds himself quietly awed. Telekinesis isn't unheard of among high-tier magic hunters, but what Jin-Woo just demonstrated was on an entirely different scale, the kind of power only national-level hunters could wield. There's no longer any doubt in Adam's mind that Jin-Woo is the 6th national-level hunter, a fact the Vice Director needs to hear. The anticipation surrounding the International Guild Conference only intensifies with time. The US Hunters Association soon releases the official list of participating guilds, and one name in particular catches the world's attention: Korea's Ajin Guild. Discussions ignite across the globe as people question the rationale behind inviting a guild with only a single high-ranking hunter. But the message is clear, that one hunter is worth more than all the guilds boasting multiple top-class hunters combined. Jin-Woo's name is everywhere. As the conference nears, he becomes the focal point of global attention, and the first ripple of its impact reaches the Korean Hunter Association. Holy crap, guys. What did you think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed this review. Subscribe for more solo leveling content and hit that notification bell, because, trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, Otakuact family, and I'll see you in the next one.